Hello chess friends and welcome to the channel. Waiting for the candidates that will begin on March the 17th, I'm working on this series where I show you some important games played by the 8 candidates. In today's video we are going to watch Alexander Grischuk. Grischuk qualified for the candidates winning the FIDE Grand Prix 2019, and today I'm glad to show you a great attacking game that he played against the Najdorf and that is considered one of his best games. Grischuk with the white pieces against Sjugirov with black in round 6 of the Russian Championship 2009. Let's get started. We said Grischuk with the white pieces opens with e4. Sjugirov answers with c5, the Sicilian defense, knight to f3, and now d6. d4, c captures on d4, the knight recaptures, and then knight to f6. Knight to c3, here comes a6, the Najdorf. Bishop to e3 is the English attack. Here comes e5, attacking the knight. Now white must choose where to bring this knight. Grischuk continues with knight back to b3, that is the traditional continuation of the English attack. Knight to f3 instead is more a positional line. In fact, now with the knight on b3, white can directly attack the black king with f3, g4, etc, etc. Here comes bishop to e6, a new control on the important d5 square, especially important in the positional treatment of this opening. Now queen to d2 because white will castle long. Now bishop to e7 to be able to castle as soon as possible. And now f3 that is controlling the g4 square so that the knight cannot bother the bishop. And then will support the g4 push. Short castle for black, long castle for white. Now queen to c7 and with g4 Grischuk begins the kingside attack. Rook to c8, g5 attacking the knight, knight to h5 and now king to b1. Knight to b7 completes the development and it's probably the best move in this position. The only downside is that this bishop now cannot move back and is sort of trapped. That's why here comes f4. So also f5 is in the cards, he captures on f4, bishop captures, knight captures, and the queen recaptures on f4. So what to do now as black? It seems that one of the best ideas is queen back to d8, not played by black in this game. So of course the idea is that black is clearing the c5 with tempo because now this pawn is under attack 2 times. So h4 defending the pawn. Now rook captures on c3 and after this exchange sacrifice, of course the pawn recaptures on c3, then queen back to c7, knight to e5 with enough compensation for black. Let's go back to our game. Instead Sjugirov continues with another good move, that is knight to e5 and now h4. Queen to b6 is a novelty because black wants to clear the c5 for the same idea, probably for this exchange sacrifice, bringing the queen to the same file of this white king. And if you notice, then after a future exchange sacrifice, then when the pawn will recapture, the knight will be pinned and this pawn advance becomes dangerous. So the idea is not so bad. Grischuk understands this idea and immediately removes the knight from the c5 with tempo. Here comes knight to d5 attacking both the queen and the dark square bishop. Bishop captures on d5 and now rook captures on d5. Here comes a5, rook to b5 attacking the queen, queen back to c7, now c2 is under attack. So here comes knight to d4, a4, a3 blocking the pawn, rook to a5, and because everything is well protected, because in case of a rook capture on b5 white will recapture with the bishop so that this c2 square is still protected. So because everything is well protected, Grischuk continues on the king side. Here comes h5. Now bishop back to f8. Watching the game without the computer, I had another idea that I'm going to show you, but that unfortunately doesn't work. Let's go back one move. Now in this position I thought, why not rook capture on b5, bishop captures on b5, and then the knight jump to c4 with the idea to sacrifice the knight on b2, and then the strong fork, queen to c3 with check, winning back the knight on d4. If white removes the knight with the bishop, the game becomes more or less equal, so not bad for black, but if white is active, he won't give black time to complete this idea. Let's watch. Now, with rook to f1, of course, black must defend this f7, so bishop back to f8, now the queen is protecting f7, g6, and white is already in touch with the castle. f6 seems one of the best moves, g captures on h7 we check, king to h8, and now h6. Now in this position, if knight captures on b2, there is queen to f5, an infiltration, knight back to c4, the idea is that with the queen not protecting d2 anymore, there is also the chance to give this check with fork, but now queen to e6 is threatening checkmate in 1, so black is forced to capture with the king on h7, h captures on g7, and there is the threat of promoting to queen, so bishop captures on g7, now rook to h1 we check, bishop to h6, bishop captures on c4, the queen recaptures, queen captures on f6, protecting the knight, and also, of course, h6 will fall, this is game over, so this immediate counterattack on the queen side doesn't work. Let's go back to our game. We said Grischuk continues with h5, Sjugirov brings his bishop back to f8, and now g6. Rook captures on b5, the bishop recaptures on b5, and now queen to b6, attacking the knight. At first, here comes g capture on f7 we check, king to h8, but now Grischuk with h6 continues his attack, leaving the knight to its fate. Queen captures on d4, but now h captures on g7 we check, black is forced to capture, bishop captures on g7, and here comes queen to f5, threatening checkmate in 1 and to capture the rook. Of course, more important to prevent the checkmate, so knight back to g6 is an interference that saves h7, but here comes queen capture on c8 we check, knight back to f8 protecting h7 and also interfering and shielding his king, but now queen back to c3 attacking the queen. This is the winning move. Why? Because let's watch what happens. If now black he changes the queens, something that Sjugirov didn't play, let's watch what happens. After queen captures on c3, just a variation, not what happened in the game, there is b captures on c3, the bishop recaptures, now rook to g1 threatening checkmate with rook to g8, so bishop back to g7 closing the g file, now bishop captures on a4, this endgame is won for white, that is a pawn up and with the rook. Let's go back to our game. So after queen to c3, that's why Sjugirov doesn't change the queens, but continues with queen captures on e4. Now everything seems under attack. The queen is under attack, the rook is under attack, but rook to g1 is the winning move. In this position, black resigns because the queen c change is unavoidable. Now, of course, if bishop captures the queen on c3, rook to g8 is checkmate in 1, so let's go back to our rook to g1. This g7 square must be protected, so queen to e5 is the only way to protect the bishop on g7. Now, after queen captures and d captures, we are again in the same endgame that is won for white. Grischuk is a strategist that often wins in the endgame after gaining an advantage in the opening and middle game, but as we have just seen, he also knows how to go directly for the checkmate attack. I hope that you liked the game, and if you did, please don't forget to like the video and to subscribe to the channel. For now, thank you very much for watching, and see you tomorrow. Goodbye!